Cool. Well, I was thinking we would work our way toward standing toe balance. So we'll get the hips nice and open, work on our balance today and our flexibility, and we want open hamstrings for that as well. So since we are going to be working toward a standing half lotus, we're going to start in half lotus. All right, so if half lotus is too much, feel free to take easy pose, or if the hips are really tight, put your hips, sit onto a block. And half lotus is when we bring one foot up toward the hip. Good, so we'll be working toward this later in our standing postures. So we'll just start to open up the hips here on our mats in a seated position. So go ahead and find a nice tall spine. Roll the shoulders down away from the ears. Just find a lengthening of the spine and a connection to the breath as we sit here. And really just let the shoulders be soft. So we don't want them hunched up by the ears, but we don't need to be cranking them down toward the mat. And then feel free to rest the hands face down on the knees, face up on the knees. You can choose a mudra, maybe Gyan mudra, connecting the forefinger and the thumb. The first finger and the thumb. Relax the jaw. Soften through the forehead. As we connect to the breath, work toward a nice steady inhale and exhale, and find a little more length in the breath. Let the belly soften and expand as we inhale. And draw the belly button back toward the spine, a gentle constriction to the abdominal wall as we exhale. And then go ahead and switch out the legs. So if we're in half lotus, take the other opposite leg on top. If we're in easy pose, just take the opposite leg in front. And then right away, reestablish the breath. And for these next 5 breaths, just work toward letting go of the chatter of the mind and coming to be fully present here on our mat in this space, in this time, letting go of all other distractions outside of our space. Complete the exhale here. And then open the eyes. Bring the soles of the feet together for butterfly pose. Rest the knees down toward the mat. Lengthen through the spine. Press the elbows to the knees and start to hinge forward at the hips, reaching the crown of the head forward. Keep the spine nice and long. And once again, shoulders away from the ears. Try to avoid any hunching or crunching. And for these last couple breaths here, just release the forehead toward the toes so we can find a gentle rounding in the upper back. Last full breath here. Lengthen again through the crown of the head. Work our way back up toward a nice long spine, and go ahead and come into a tabletop position. Spread the fingers wide. Find the shoulders placed over the wrists and the hips placed over the knees, and let's take some cat-cows here. So with your own breath, the inhale brings us to cow pose, and the exhale rounds us to cat pose. And just find this movement back and forth, working with the breath, completing the full length of the inhale as we come into cow, and completing the full length of the exhale as we round into cat. Just opening through the front and back side of the body. One more of each wherever you are. One more cow, one more cat. And then we'll all meet back in tabletop position. And then from tabletop position, option to either take child's pose, hips to heels, or take puppy pose. So you can get a little more into the hips if you take child's pose, a little more into the shoulders if you take puppy pose. If we take puppy pose, we'll keep the hips over the knees, release the forehead down toward the mat. If we take child's pose, we'll take the hips to the heels and extend the arms forward, resting the hips on the heels. Let the jaw and the forehead be soft. Take one more full breath here. And complete the exhale. Lift the hips up, tuck the toes under, and make your way to downward facing dog. Start to find some movement here in downward facing dog. As we look back toward the toes, see the heels disappear behind the toes. Press into the palms of the hands, spread the fingers nice and wide on the mat. Wrist creases parallel to the front of the mat. Take 3 more breaths here in downward facing dog. So downward facing dog is our resting pose. Throughout class, you can always come back here. If this does not feel like rest though, always take a child's pose as an alternative. Take one more, or complete your exhale here, and then we'll lift that right leg high. Open the hip, bend the leg. Circle the ankle in both directions. Straighten the leg out, square off the hips, release the foot to the floor, and just walk your feet 1 foot length forward, and take that left hand and reach it toward the right ankle. Draw the left elbow to the left, look out underneath the right arm. So a stretch in the hamstrings, a twist in the spine. And release, coming back to downward facing dog, and we'll switch sides. So take the right hand to the left ankle, draw the right elbow to the right and look to the left. Keep that tailbone high, lifting up toward the sky, heels low, reaching down toward the floor. Complete the exhale here. And release, walk back to downward facing dog. Lift the left leg high, open the hip, bend the leg, circle the ankle in both directions. Extend the legs, straighten it out, square off the hips, and release. Lift both heels high. Bring the knees to hover right over the mat. Look forward, come forward to plank pose. Find a nice strong plank. Keep the shoulders stacked over the hips. Keep the feet in line with the hips, or the shoulders stacked over the wrists, and then slowly lower all the way down onto the mat. Tops of the feet flat to the floor. Lift up into cobra pose, reaching through the crown of the head. Elbows stay drawed in toward the ribs, and then slowly release, forehead down onto the floor. Tuck the toes under, lift the kneecaps, Press up, tabletop or plank, and find downward facing dog. Inhale, exhale, look toward the hands, walk the feet to the front of the mat. Come into ragdoll, take feet right underneath the hips, bend the legs, rest the torso on the thighs, take opposite hand to opposite elbow, maybe rock side to side. Take one more full breath here. Release on the exhale, hands to the floor. Heel toe the feet together. Roll up to a stand. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. Palms face out, fingers face down, toes spread nice and wide for mountain pose. Reach through the crown of the head. On the next inhale, reach the arms up overhead. And exhale, cactus the arms, draw the elbows down, lift through the chest. Inhale, both arms up overhead. Connect the palms of the hands, release the index finger, and then side bend to the right. Keep that left shoulder in line with the left hip, gazes at the floor, wall or ceiling. Just keep the head in line with the spine. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, release to the opposite side, right shoulder in line with right hip. Head is an extension of the spine. Complete the exhale here. Draw back to center. Look up, mini back bend here. So lift the heart toward the sky. Biceps stay in line with the ears. Head is an extension of the spine, so don't flop the head back. And then come back towards center with the arms extended, hinging at the hips. Come forward, reaching through the fingertips. Come all the way down to forward fold. And then when we come to forward fold, release the hands. And we're gonna come into gorilla pose. So lift your feet off the floor and slide your hands underneath. The fingertips are gonna face the heels and the toes are gonna rest in the wrist creases. So knees can be bent, legs can be bent, but we're working towards straight legs here. If the hamstrings are feeling quite flexible, start to draw the elbows off to the side and draw the forehead down toward the toes. Take one more full breath here. Release the hands out from underneath the feet. Come up to a halfway lift. Hands on the floor, shins or thighs. Shoulders are drawing away from the ears. We're reaching through the crown of the head for one more inhale. And exhale, release. Uttanasana. On the inhale, come all the way up, tall mountain. Sweeping the arms off to the side, come up with a flat back. Reach the arms up overhead and then cactus the arms as we exhale. Draw the elbows down, lift through the heart. Inhale, come all the way up to center. Arrow mudra with the hands, side bend to the right. Breath to movement, inhale back to center, side bend to the left. Just warming up the sides. Inhale back to center, mini back bend. Lift the heart, lift the gaze. Hinging at the hips, reaching through the fingertips, coming down with a flat back. Releasing the hands when we get down to the floor. Inhale, halfway lift, monkey pose. Exhale, release, forward fold. Plant the hands, step back to plank pose. Exhale, lower down all the way to the floor. Bring the hands in line with the ribs, tops of the feet flat to the floor. High cobra. Extend all the way through the spine, working towards straight arms. It's okay if they're not straight. And then very slowly, belly button, ribs, heart, release forehead to the floor. Bring the hands back underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes under, tabletop or plank inhale, downward facing dog on the exhale. 3 more breaths in downward facing dog. And just remember, always in downward facing dog, if this doesn't feel restful and the breath is tight, we can always take a child's pose instead. On the next inhale, lift the right leg high. As we exhale, we're gonna come through for a shorter stance. So place the right foot on the floor, release the left heel to the floor, and rise up, coming into warrior 1. So in warrior one, we want that back heel planted on the floor. Foot is at a 45-degree angle. Good, so plant that heel down. Perfect. Nice. Keep those shoulders right over the hips. Nice straight arms. Good, and then just continue energetically to draw that right hip back, left hip forward. Take one more inhale here. Exhale. Now straighten through that front leg. Bring the arms off to the side, palms face down. Okay, we're gonna come into pyramid pose. So start to extend the crown of the head forward. Hold here, working on spinal strength. Keep that right quad nice and engaged so we don't overstretch the right hamstring, and then release the hands down to the floor. You can have the hands on a block, the calf or the shin. Just don't put too much pressure if we're holding onto the leg. And lift that left heel off the floor. Plant the hands, come into a low lunge, step back, plank pose, and then lower chaturanga. Halfway down, always the option to come all the way down. Inhale to upward facing dog, and exhale back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg high, shortened step, come through. First release that back heel to the floor, and then lift those arms up. Good, warrior one. So we're squaring those hips toward the front of the mat. Nice, strong, engaged back leg. Really press into the outer edge of that back foot. Okay, and then if this left hip hikes forward, we draw it back. We can even use our hands to assist us if we need to. And then we keep those shoulders right over the hips. Good. And then just lunge a little bit deeper. Complete the exhale here. And then straighten through that front leg. Reach the arms off to the side, palms face down. So we're working on some spinal strength first. So we're gonna hinge forward. Bring the torso parallel to the floor. Keep the head in line with the spine. Reaching the palms off to the side. Spread the fingers nice and wide. Continue to keep that left quadricep engaged for one more inhale. And then exhale, hands to the floor. And then just release that forehead toward the left toe. Continue to draw that left hip back, right hip forward. Take one more full breath here. Complete the exhale. Hands to the floor, lift that back heel, come into low lunge. Step back to plank pose and lower chaturanga. Upward facing dog on the inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, take the right leg high. And then exhale, full step through this time. Good. Inhale, rise up to crescent lunge. Back heel is now off the floor. Hips are still squared. A little easier to keep that hip squared with the heel off the floor. Shoulders are still right over the hips, wrists right over the shoulders. Hold here for one more breath. Good. And then from here, open up to warrior two. Plant that back heel on the floor. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. So no crunching up with the shoulders. We want them soft. 90 degrees in that front leg for one more full breath. All right, on the inhale, we're gonna come into reverse triangle. So straighten the front leg, left hand slides down the back leg, and then we're gonna shift forward, preparing for triangle pose. So reach through the right fingertips, right hand to the floor, left hand up toward the sky. Stack the shoulders. Nice, tight, engaged quads here. Take one more full breath in triangle pose. And on the inhale, come up to five-pointed star. We're gonna pivot to the back of our mat. So go ahead and face the left toes toward the back, 45-degree angle in your back foot, arms extend long, and reverse triangle here. So inhale, up and back, and then exhale, preparing for triangle pose on the other side. Reach through the left fingertips And then draw the left hand toward the floor, right hand toward the sky. Stack the shoulders. 2 arms are in one line. Legs are nice and engaged. Take one more full breath here. On the inhale, come back up to 5-pointed star. And exhale, hands to heart, sink down. Hold here for one more breath. All right, we can have the hands, keep them at heart center, or we can take them to the floor. We're gonna lunge to the right. Good, and then go ahead and come all the way down if you can. We're just gonna take the hip stretch here. If we can't come all the way down, if it's too hard on the knees, you can stay upright and just support yourself with hands on a blocker on the floor. Okay, if we wanna work on our balance, we can draw the left toes off the floor, draw the hands to the heart. All right, and with hands at heart or on the floor for support, we're gonna side lunge to the back. And same thing here, and this side might be different. So you can stay propped up. If it's too hard on the knee, you can have hands at heart, you can have hands on the floor, or you can come all the way down. You can play with your balance here, lifting the toes off the floor, bringing the hands to the heart. Take one more full breath here, just stretching through the inner thigh, stretching through the hip. Good, and then you're just gonna pivot to low lunge at the back of your mat. So pivot onto the left leg, and from here, keep the right hand on the floor, and we're gonna come into side plank. So step that left foot back, stack it on top of the right. Good, and then option in side plank, you can always take that left foot to the floor, or you can take the right knee to the floor. Hold here for one more breath. Good, and then roll onto plank pose, lower to chaturanga. Upward facing dog on the inhale. Downward facing dog on the exhale. Hold here in downward facing dog or in child's pose for a couple more breaths. Take one more full breath here. Complete the exhale, and then take the left leg high. Step through low lunge. We're gonna work our way back to the front of the mat. Come up to crescent lunge on the inhale, hold here, back heel off the floor, sink low into that front leg. Keep the knees stacked right over the ankle. Try to soften the shoulders away from the ears, but stay nice and active and bright through the fingertips, lifting them up toward the sky. Complete the exhale here. Inhale, and then our exhale is going to be warrior 2. So open up here. Continuing to work 90 degrees into that front leg. So if we need to lengthen our stance so that that knee can get low but stay over the ankle, feel free to do that. Press into the outer edge of that back foot. Holding the pose, softening the mind, softening the breath as much as we can. Inhale, come to reverse triangle. So straighten that left leg, right hand slides down the back leg, up and back, open through the left ribs, and then shift forward. Left hand comes reaching past the toes and then toward the floor. Right arm comes up toward the sky. Nice, strong, engaged quads. Nice, bright fingers. You can have the hand resting on the shin if need be, just don't put a lot of extra weight there. So use the core to hold you. And then on the inhale, come up through 5-pointed star, and then we're just gonna pivot back to the front of our mat. So right toes are gonna face the front. Bring those arms parallel to the mat and keep the hips open to the side. Good, yep, perfect. Then shift forward and triangle pose on the other side. So keep the head in line with the spine. Stack those arms so they're in one long line. On the inhale, come up through 5-pointed star. Exhale, hands to heart, sink low. Hold here just for one more breath. All right, side lunge to the back of the mat, onto the left leg. Just one breath here. Side lunge to the front of the mat. Just one breath here. Inhale. Exhale. Good. And then low lunge to the front of your mat. So we're lunged onto the right leg. Left hand is going to be the foundation. Step back, side plank. Good. And then option for right foot to the floor or left knee to the floor for extra support. Take one more full breath here. And then roll through to plank. And then optional chaturanga, lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. We'll flow once and then we'll take a break. Inhale the right leg high. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, crescent lunge, rise up. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, extend the arms long, pivot that right toe forward. Inhale, reverse triangle. Exhale, triangle pose. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, pivot to the back, extend the arms long. Inhale, reverse triangle. Exhale, triangle pose. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, prayer squat, come down. Take an inhale here. Exhale to the right. Inhale here. Exhale, side lunge to the left. Inhale here. Exhale, low lunge to the back. Right hand is your foundation. Side plank, inhale. Good, and exhale, chaturanga to the back. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Flow back to the front. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, low lunge, step through. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, reverse triangle. Exhale, triangle. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, triangle to the back, to the opposite side. Right foot forward. Good. Inhale, reverse triangle. Exhale, triangle pose. Inhale, come up to 5-pointed star. Exhale, prayer squat. Inhale. Exhale, side lunge to the left. Inhale. Exhale, side lunge to the right. Inhale. Exhale, low lunge to the front. Left hand is your foundation. Inhale, side plank. Exhale, chaturanga, lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, half pigeon. Okay, we're gonna work on opening the hips. Extend long. And then rest. Forehead comes down onto the hands. Breathe here for 3 more breaths. extend back up onto the hands. We're just gonna take that left leg and we're gonna swing it forward. We're gonna take that right foot and bring it to the left inner thigh. Good, we're gonna keep our shoulders squared to the front of the mat. We're gonna extend the arms up overhead and forward fold over the left leg. Hold here for 3 more breaths. Complete the exhale here. And release. Bring that right foot to left inner thigh. So we're in half lotus legs again. Okay, if this is not possible, if it's too much knee problems or anything else, just keep it on the floor. We're gonna twist. So left hand to right knee, shoulders stay stacked over hips, and then option to reach the right hand toward the right toes and bind. Look out over the right shoulder. Stay nice and tall through the spine. 2 more breaths. Complete the exhale here. Unwind. All right, we're gonna try this pose. It's kind of a challenging one, so I'll just walk you through it. You're gonna bring that right foot flat to the floor. You're gonna bring it about right in line with your hips, so it's not necessarily touching your inner thigh, so you have a little bit of space here. All right, so we're gonna take the left hand to the floor. Reach your right arm forward. Start to hinge forward. Flip your hand, thumb is gonna face down, and then start to wrap it around your right leg. So we're working toward a bind. Good, that's the right position. It feels a little awkward. Okay, and then we're working that left hand around the back. Reaching for the clasp. Good, and then extend through the spine. Hold here for another breath, getting as nice and long and tall as we can. And then forward fold over the left leg. If the bind feels inaccessible and we feel off balance, feel free to take the hands to the mat and start to reach toward the foot. Just wherever you are, continue to draw the right shoulder, the right knee toward the right shoulder. Just take 1 more breath here. Good, and release from the fold. Extend that right leg forward. Settle into the sitting bones on the ground. And then reach both arms up overhead and forward fold over both legs. Just 3 breaths. So 1 more inhale. Complete the exhale. Good, and release from the fold. Cross over the legs and come back to downward facing dog. We'll do the other side in just a minute. Walk your hands to meet your feet at the back of your mat. Forward fold. On the inhale, rise up, tall mountain. Bring the hands to the heart. Ground down into your right foot and then take the left foot to tree legs. So ankle, calf, or inner thigh. I'm going to take several rounds of tree today in preparation for our toe balance. So we'll be here for 5 breaths. Just avoid your kneecap. And as the foot presses into the inner thigh, press the inner thigh into the foot. So you should feel your leg lift up and engage. Complete the exhale here. Release to mountain pose. Inhale to tall mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, walk your way to chaturanga. So arms come forward, lower down. Upward facing dog on the inhale. Downward facing dog on the exhale. Left leg lifts, inhale. Half pigeon on the other side, exhale. Extend tall through the spine, inhale, and release. Exhale for 3 breaths. Lift up, and then sweep your right leg forward. Left foot to right inner thigh. Arms up overhead. Forward fold over the right leg. 3 breaths here. Complete the exhale here. And release from the fold. Left foot can stay where it is, or left foot to right inner thigh for half lotus legs. And we're gonna twist. So we're gonna take that right hand to the left knee, left hand out behind, option to bind left hand to left toes. Keep the right toes and the right knee pointing up toward the sky. Keep the shoulders stacked over the hips. And then we bring the chin toward the left shoulder, looking back toward the back of the mat. Release from the twist. Good, and then we're gonna place the left foot in line with the left hip. Draw it in as much as possible. Good, right hand on the floor for support. We're gonna reach that left arm forward, get some length, and then switch that thumb so it's facing down and wrap it around the left knee. We're working toward the bind, so we take that right hand now and clasp the hands behind the leg. Okay, so if this is inaccessible, option to start reaching the hands toward the leg and then forward folding. If you release the leg and don't have the clasp, be really conscientious about drawing that left knee toward the left shoulder. So you should be really, really active here in the leg. And this is our last breath here. Release the clasp. Extend the left leg forward. One more round of Paschimottanasana. Feel your sitting bones ground onto the floor. Reach the arms up overhead. And then forward fold over the legs. Last full breath here. And release. Cross over the ankles, come back to downward facing dog. Take a full breath here. And walk the hands to meet the feet at the back of the mat. Rise up, tall mountain. Hands to heart. Good, and then stand onto the left leg. For tree legs, bring the right foot to the ankle, calf, or inner thigh. Find a steady gaze. As we draw the tailbone down, pull the right knee toward the back of the mat. Good, nice trees. Active in that left leg. You should feel with your right foot, your left quad engaged and your kneecap lifting up for 2 more breaths. Exhale, release that right foot to the floor. Inhale, tall mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, monkey. And exhale, chaturanga. Walk your hands forward, lower down. Upward facing dog, inhale. Downward facing dog, exhale. And cross over the ankles, come to a seat, grab a sip. All right, we're gonna do a little bit of core work here and then we'll come back to our flow. Gradually working our way toward toe balance. All right, so go ahead and lay down on your mat when you're ready. All right, extend that right leg up toward the sky. Extend your left leg to hover over the mat. Extend your arms forward toward the front of your mat. Nice strong legs, lift the shoulders off the floor. Hold here for 3, 2, an option to set that heel on the floor, 1, and then pulse for 10, 9, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hug the knees in. Full breath here. Extend the left leg up. Extend the right leg forward. Heel hovers or sets on the floor. Extend the arms toward the front of the mat, lifting the shoulders. Hold here for 3, 2, 1. Strong active legs and pulse for 10, 9, 8, 3, 2, 1. Hug the knees into the chest. Big breath here. All right, roll up to boat. Hold here for 3, 2, 1. Now, bring your legs to a straddle, hands interlace for arrow mudra, and then we're gonna just rock down. Heels stay lifted, so shoulders are hovering, and then just little pulses from here, from the floor. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. This is a hard one for 3, 2, 1. Hug those knees in. Exhale. All right, just one little rock here. And come through to high cobra for a stretch of the core. Just walk your feet back. Keep those wrists underneath the shoulders. Relax the hips toward the floor. Good, big breath here. Feel that nice big stretch. Good, and then come back into downward facing dog. Complete the exhale. Inhale, lift that right leg high. Exhale, step through for a shorter stance. Warrior 1 again. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, hands behind the heart, behind the hips. Interlace the hands. Press the fists down, lift, and then humble warrior. Right elbow or right shoulder to right knee. Let the head dangle, looking back toward that left foot. Right knee is pressing into right shoulder, so we're really active in the right inner thigh. One more full breath here. All right, rise all the way up, straightening through that front leg, both arms up overhead. Square off those hips, good. And then revolved triangle, so left arm forward, right arm back, start to reach through the left fingertips, and then left hand is gonna come to the floor, block or shin, right hand is gonna come straight up toward the sky, twisting in the spine, engage through the core, good. Take one more full breath here. Come all the way back up. And then just rotate that left arm up and over, right arm forward, and triangle pose. Hinge forward, right hand down, left arm up. Inhale, 5-pointed star, back to our flow. Exhale, hands to heart, sink it down. Inhale, exhale, rise up, 5-pointed star. Left toes to the back of the mat, arms extend parallel, and then reach left hand forward, Left hand to the mat, right arm up. Inhale, exhale. 5-pointed star, inhale. Exhale, prayer squat. Inhale. Exhale, lunge to the right. Inhale. Exhale, lunge to the left. Inhale. Low lunge to the back. Inhale. Exhale, side plank. Right hand's your foundation. Lift that left leg back. All right, so experiment here. You have lots of options. Take any modification for side plank or take tree legs. So left foot to right inner thigh. Good. Make sure if that's the option and you're resting that left foot on the right inner thigh, that your right leg is tightly engaged and you're not putting too much weight there. And then option for chaturanga with tree legs. So coming forward, lowering down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Release the legs. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Left leg lifts, inhale. Shorter stance, step through, right heel to the floor. Rise up, warrior one. Hands behind the back. Interlace the fingers, press the fists down, lift through the heart. Left shoulder to left knee. Humble warrior. Release the head, look back toward the right toes, and continue to squeeze that left knee into the left shoulder so that left leg isn't just hanging out. Take one more full breath. Okay, we're gonna rise all the way up. We're gonna straighten that leg as we come, extend the arms up overhead, and then bring the arms parallel to the mat. Right arm forward, left arm back. Start to reach forward with that right hand, and then keep those arms in line with one another as the right hand comes to the floor, block, or shin. Left arm reaches up toward the sky. Nice twist in the spine. Continue to draw that left hip back, right hip forward. Take one more inhale. Exhale. Okay, now rise up. And the right arm is just going to spiral up and over. Left arm forward. We're going to now open the hips and the shoulders. Triangle pose. Left hand to the floor. Right hand toward the ceiling. Inhale. Rise up. 5-pointed star. Exhale. Triangle to the back. Right foot, or back to the front, I guess. And inhale, reverse. Exhale, triangle. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, prayer squat. Inhale. Exhale to the left. Inhale. Exhale to the right. Inhale. Low lunge to the front. Left hand is your foundation. Step back, side plank. Hold here with any modification, but option here for tree legs. We'll take that right foot to left inner thigh. Press the inner thigh into the foot. Engage through the quad. Hold here. Inhale. And then option for chaturanga with tree legs or just regular chaturanga. Lower down, we'll release that foot for our up dog and come back, downward facing dog. Inhale, exhale. Look toward the front of your mat and step or float your feet to the outside of your hands. Come down into malasana. Good. Hands to the heart, elbows to the knees, extend through the crown of the head. Hold here. One more full breath. All right, come into a wide-legged forward fold. So bring those heels behind the toes and just shake out the hips. All right, heel toe your feet back in line with your hips, and then option for Bakasana crow pose. Plant the hands right underneath the shoulders, knees to the backs of the arms, and then shift forward. Bring the heels in toward the tailbone. Work towards straightening through the arms and hold here for 3, 2, and as you release, slowly descend back into Malasana. So bring the feet wide, hips low, hold here for 3 more breaths, stretching the hips. Last breath. Good. And then come down to a seat. And just wiggle out the legs, give them a little shake. Good. We're going to take one more hip opener before we come into our toe balance. So keep the left leg extended long on the mat. The option is also going to bring the left foot in. And then we're going to hold our right leg and cradle the baby first. So go ahead and take that right foot to your left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Good. Hold here just for a couple more breaths. Option also to cradle. Good. Yeah, just working on opening up those hips for one more breath. We're not holding it long today. Good. Now relax the grip on the leg. And we're going to take that right knee and rest it on top of the right leg. Don't just stare at me. There you go, slide it under, and then place that right hand on the floor. Good. See if you can get that right leg as high up as possible, and then take the left hand onto the floor and rock forward and lift the hips off the floor. Good. And release. There's a lot going on there. Okay, opposite leg. Take it to cradle the baby. We're not holding the pose long for today. It's just our last little hip stretch prep. Good. Yeah, we can wrap the arms around the legs. We can cradle the calf in the crooks of the elbow. Hold here for another 2 breaths. Good. Relax the grip on the leg. Place that left hand onto the floor and then bring your left leg as high up onto the left shoulder as possible. Yeah, to the inside. Good. Both hands to the floor. See if you can get it up a little bit higher. Yeah, there you go. Just shimmy that shoulder underneath there. Perfect. Good. And then we'll plant the hands on the floor and just rock forward. See if you can lift the hips off the floor and hold here for 3, 2, 1. Good. It's comical. Awesome. Okay, so go ahead and come to a stand at the front of your mat. The big pose. Do you know what it is? We've done it before.
Toes pose?
Mm-hmm. No. Toe balance.
Toe balance.
Yeah.
Love that.
All right, so we'll start with our legs. We're going to stand on our right leg. We're going to bring our left leg to half lotus. Okay, so we've been here already before. Bring that left leg all the way up. Excellent. Okay, so a couple choices. If the leg doesn't stay, you can hold the top of the foot with the right hand. Release the opposite hand. Good. And then left hand to heart center. Excellent. So if the leg stays, both hands to heart center. One side may be different. Okay, find a dristi, place to gaze on the floor, keep your gaze steady, and then start to forward fold. I'm gonna bring the hands onto the floor, or blocks, if you have blocks in front of you, and then lower the right hip to the right heel. Good, so come all the way down into a squat. And then once we're in this squat in half lotus, for the final pose, Final step of the pose, we bring the hands to heart center and hold. Yeah, so steady gaze, steady breath. And just play around. If you fall, that's okay too. You got it, Wakanda. Nice, 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 awesome. Good, good. Yeah, awesome. How does that feel on your hip?
It's good.
Good, okay. So come back out of it, same way we went in if possible, rising all the way back up to standing half lotus and release. Awesome. Other side, standing on the left foot, right foot to half lotus. Options here, your balance, options here with the hands. You can hold the top of the foot with the left hand. You can bring right hand to heart center. If the leg stays, maybe both hands to heart center. Excellent. Find a drishti, and then slowly come into your forward fold. Hands to the block or the floor. Slowly descend, bringing hips to heel. Good. And then walk the hands back so the shoulders are right over the hips. Steady, steady. One or both hands to heart center. Side may be really different. It is for me, I know that. One more breath. And then try and come back out of it the same way you went in. Coming back into the forward fold. Coming back into standing half lotus. Releasing. Good.
Tough to balance out
Awesome. I'm stuck.
here. Easier to balance inside like your basement? Seems like it.
Maybe less distractions.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, excellent job. We're gonna cool it down here. So go ahead and come down onto your back. I'm gonna take a couple more stretches and twists, and then we'll wrap it up with Shavasana. So let's take bridge pose first. Bring heels to hips. Lift the hips off the floor. Option for chest expansion. Hands behind the hips interlace, and then roll onto the shoulders. Hold here. Last inhale. Exhale, release. Cross the left ankle over the right knee. Lift the right foot off the floor, hands around the thigh or calf for reclined pigeon pose. Press that left knee toward the front of the mat. Flex all 10 toes back toward both knees. Hold here. Release that right foot to the floor and twist. Left foot comes to the right. Arms extend to goalpost or T. If you'd like a different leg variation, feel free to take that. And come back to center. Cross the right ankle over the left knee. Lift the left foot off the floor, hands around the thigh or calf, or shin, I mean. Flex the toes back toward the knees. Press the right knee toward the front. Hips and shoulders stay grounded on the floor. One more breath. Release the left foot to the floor and twist. Right foot to the left. Arms to goalpost or T. Look to the right. One more breath. Back towards center, hug the knees into the chest. Hold here, take happy baby or anything else that you want. You can take rolls of the knees. And then we'll come into Shavasana when we're ready. Extend the legs long, let the feet fall open. Arms rest alongside the body, palms face up. Release the breath with an open mouth, exhale. Close the lips. And then start to come back into the natural rhythm of the breath. Nice, soft, smooth, steady inhales and exhales. Start to deepen the breath. Start to bring awareness back to the body. We can wiggle the fingers and the toes. Slowly start to roll the wrists and the ankles. Working toward a full body stretch, reaching the arms up overhead. And then slowly making your way onto your side, cradling the head and the arm. This last final moment here in your space on your mat. To thank yourself for making your way to your mat today for your yoga practice, and set an intention for your day, and slowly come all the way up to a seat. Bring hands to heart center, sit up nice and tall. Inhale through the nose, fill all the way up, hold. Let it go through the mouth. Today, as you go forward, may you have peace in your thoughts, peace in your words, peace in your heart. Namaste.